Hey Woolly Thrill Seekers, welcome to my Woolly PhD. My name's Liz Scarf and this is a weekly vlog all about what I am learning and making this week in my PhD in anthropology, all about wool, here in stunning Iceland again. So, it's week 2, I'll be here for 16 weeks on this trip, and then I'll do another couple of trips over the next year and a half. So anyway, it's still very beautiful here. The weather is not like this all the time. Sometimes it's a bit rainy and I'm sure it's going to just get, more precipitous over time. Anyway, I'll stop. I just start grinning like an idiot when I start talking about being here. It's so beautiful, it really is. Anyway, you can find a brief overview of the research project in the introductory video if you're new here, and if you are, yes, welcome. This week I've been thinking about animals as thinking allies, or partners or people to think together with. And I've been interacting with a lot of farm animal groups this past week, and I noticed that our interactions, the manner in which we both enact care, navigate space and time together, and the way we exchange foods, all make me think different things. So, like the pigs make me think a lot about what it means to be civilized, and the laying hens make me think about what it means to be strategic. So I got to reading a few things about thinking with animals, and there's a lot in this area, in animal studies, human animal studies, critical animal studies. It's heaps. And I think we're in a really interesting time intellectually about the way in which, academically at least, people are changing or challenging the ways in which animals are thought about. Driven by issues of justice, animal justice, and also some really different challenges to fundamental philosophies about the nature of where humans are located relative to other animals in the world. And so that's really interesting. A couple of the things I was reading to share with you, one is called Thinking Through Animals, Identity, Difference and Indistinction by Matthew Kalarko. This is a booklet that gives an overview of the main theories in critical animal studies, and you can view some of it for free in Google Books. I'm not sure otherwise if you can get an open access copy or not, but the other one is called Animals and Humans, Thinking in Nature by David Morris, and this is a journal article in which he's arguing about many of the major works considering animal cognition consider thinking in terms of behaviour, and they also only consider like the individual animal. But he's sort of arguing that animals moving in groups develop a new sorts of sense, and that studying animal group life can help us think in new ways about sense and the body and the brain and the relationship between thinking and nature. And I'm particularly fascinated by this last bit, right? The relationship between thinking and nature. I don't even know what that means. That's quite complex as an idea, right? What is that? But I do wonder that it might help my understanding of why I am thinking specific things with specific animal groups. And I suspect I'm actually just having some very basic thoughts inspired by sort of common stereotypes or misconceptions about particular breeds or kinds of animals, right? But even this can be a doorway into some decent critical thinking. So I'm looking forward to, contemplating that more and exploring it and sort of seeing what's behind that door in a sense, as I kind of hang out more with animals and then hang out more with literature about it. And I've also been thinking about the legs, how the legs and the feet and the ways of moving of different animal groups engineer a landscape, and how their different eating habits also do the same. So many farmers all know about this, right? They know about how hooves and mouths change a landscape. I'm sure academically there's something very deep there. Anyway, that's kind of quite interesting. And also about how a herd of hungry pigs running towards you for food are terrifying beasts, but the same herd running away from you towards food are super cute. Right? So about how threat assessment alters perceptions. It makes me wonder how much our perceptions of animals have been informed by perceptions of threat. It's interesting. Okay, anyway, so it's been a week of thinking about thinking with animals, and I'm very keen to deepen this over time. And also just noticing, the real need to spend time with these animal groups outside of feeding times, because that's mostly what the interactions happen around, right, is calorie exchange. And the animals are behaving in a certain way in that group when they're hungry. And I'm curious to sort of just go and observe and hang out with them and think together with them when they're not hungry, when they've eaten, and when they're just like, oh, now I'm just going to go do other stuff. So anyway, that's what I might do over the next few weeks. And that's what I've been thinking about. And yeah, even as I'm thinking about that thinking, I don't know, if you've got thoughts about like what are different animal groups, or like your dog or your cat or your budgie, do you notice that you think differently when you're interacting with them and spending time with them, whether your topics of thought or your style of thinking? Do you kind of have inner or even outer sort of dialogues with them that are kind of unique or particular in a certain way? I'm interested to hear. Okay, what have I been making? So I have a goal of making a sweater a month while I'm here, which is ambitious in some ways, but the Loper Pacer is not knit in fingering weight. So it's at least DK, but mostly Aran to worsted weight. So it is possible. I think I asked somewhere, what is a really experienced knitter who knows what pattern they're knitting? How quick can they sort of turn out a Loper Pacer? And I was kind of told about 24 hours of like knitting, right? So maybe that's done over a week or half a week. Anyway. So it's possible, but I'm also hoping to knit 4 pairs of mittens and a pair of socks, roughly by December. So that might end up a bit of a stretch, we'll see. But so with this in mind, I have only been working on my first Loper Pacer this week, and I'm knitting it with Let Lopi yarn from Istex, which is the big commercial yarn producer here in Iceland. And I probably mentioned last week that the Loper Pacer, they're knitted bottom up. So you knit the sleeves separately and you knit the body, and then you join them at the yoke, and then keep going up, which I've never done before. So it's been quite exciting. But I've joined them. I'm just trying to hold it up without getting it dropping off the needles. I really should change to a longer cable, but I haven't. And I'm just soldering away. Where is it? There's a sleeve. There's a sleeve. And here's a sleeve, and yeah, so I've done the join, and I reckon I'm about over a third of a way up through the yoke, and the decreases are going to start in a couple of rows, so it's only going to get quicker. So I think I might finish it in the next couple of days. I think the lighting's not so great. I'm so sorry. I'm still trying to optimize for a good view behind me rather than a good view here, but you probably can't see the colours very well, but I will promise to show it on a day with better light. But yeah, very happy with those colours. And I have been visiting some other wool and yarn stores, and I have got myself a little stash happening now, which is maybe ill-advised given luggage restrictions and stuff. But anyway, I've got some plans for that. But yeah, I'm very happy to have a little yarn stash popped on some shelves. Anyway, there's a picture of on my Instagram, which is Liz Making With. So you can see all my little growing Icelandic stash there. But yeah, that's all I've been working on. Just in the moment, I am being assaulted with a particularly gross animal manure smell. I think it's dog poo. It's just on the wind. Anyway, what a great note to finish on. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that jazz if you haven't already. And I will see you next week with some more exciting tales from Iceland. Okay, bye.